Welcome back to the Jackal's Gaming Den. Today we're going to be creating a character in Earthdawn Second Edition. This is not a dead gaming system. FASA is still producing this game. Currently, I believe they're up to 4th edition, but we're going to be creating in 2nd because that's what I have a physical copy of. So, let's get started. Earthdawn Second Edition. Right there. Let's get that out of the way. And as you can tell, I've already started filling in some of this information, such as player name, that would be me, Jackal. We've got the discipline that is kind of like your class in Dungeons and Dragons. Your circle, one, this is a starting character. Your circle is sort of like your level. Your race, in this case, it's a Scrang, which is Scrang are sapient lizard people. Um, they're rather flamboyant and kind of just in general fun. Age, hair, eyes, weight, all that stuff. Well, you know what those are. If you don't, well, I'm sorry. I wish I could help you. That there's just nothing more for me to say. Um, Sex, well, I put a question mark there because really, Scrang are kind of odd because they're lizard people. Aside from the individual Scrang themselves, uh, that individual knows what gender they are, but other people outside, nobody can really tell, and that actually includes other Scrang. So, anyway, that's a question mark. Now we're going to get into attributes, and this is where things get a little weird for people coming from things like Dungeons and Dragons, because attributes are a point buy. This is a point buy system, not random generation. Generally, there is a randomized version method to character creation, and if you want me to cover that in the future, leave a comment, and we'll look into doing that. But for the moment, we're doing the basic point buy system, and you start with 66 points. Your GM might modify that, such as generally when I've played, our GMs frequently upped that to 72, whoever was running at that point, just to give us a little bit more oomph. But we're going to be going with 66. You start at a value of 5, and there is a chart on page 39 of the main book that tells you what the point cost is, what the purchase point cost is for each of the values. Now, as this is an Elementalist, which is a spellcaster, their primary attributes are willpower, so let's get that at an 18, which is as high as you can go at character gen. We've got a perception, and I'm going to set that at 17 to start, because that is a secondary ability for elementalists. And then personally, I like to have a toughness value of at least 14. Now, that's a personal choice. That is not something that is actually required except for certain races. So, now, what we've got are we have a willpower of 18, so that's 23 points. We have a perception of 17, that's 21 points, so that's 44 points right there. And a toughness of 14, which is 13 points. So you'll see I'm already down to 9 points remaining out of my original 66. Only 9 points are left. So let's go ahead and spend those 9 points on the other abilities, shall we? Now, going from 5 to 8 actually only costs 3 points. So conveniently, as I only have 9 points left, I can go 8, 8, and 8. And that case takes care of all 66 points. Now, from here, we go into racial modifiers and racial abilities. The Scrang racial ability is only a tail attack, so I've got that marked down later on. But their racial modifiers are +1 to Dex, so that's a value of 9. There's no modification to strength. There's a +1 to toughness, so that's a 15. There's no modification to perception or willpower, but there is one to charisma. So that's a value of 9. And while we're here on page 41, we can go ahead and mark down the steps for all those attributes. A value of 9 is a step 4. And step 4 is 1d6. A value of 8 is still step 4. That's 1d6. 15 is a step value of 6. Step number of 6. So that's 1d10, I believe. Yes. 17 is actually up to a 7. Step 7, and that is 1d12. 18 is also step 7, 1d12. Charisma is 9. That's step 4, 1d6. So now we're going to go over to the derived statistics. First, let's do our defenses. They are based off of the values. All of your derived statistics are from value. All of your usage is based off of step. So PhysDef, physical defense, is based off of dexterity. We got a value of 9. A value of 9 gives a PhysDef of 6. Spell defense is based off of willpower. No, I'm sorry, it's based off of perception. You see, even I can still get it wrong. I just need to take a look at the chart, which is on page 42. So, spell defense is perception. Perception value is 17. That is a spell def of 9. A social defense is based off of charisma, and charisma value is 9. So, again, that is a 6. Armor. You actually can get mystic armor from your willpower. So, let's see. I got a willpower of 18 here. That's going to be a mystic armor value of 3. You're not going to get any physical armor from this because as a Scrang, you don't have any natural physical armor. Trolls do. Now, movement. You take a look at your dexterity, and that will determine your basic movement. And then you take a look at your racial movement modifiers on page 44. A Scrang does not have any modifiers. So, going off of the table from page 42, we keep our full movement and combat yards per round based off of our dex. Dex of 9 leads to a combat movement of 24 yards per round and a full movement of 48 yards per round. It sounds like it's halved, but on some values it's actually not. Strength determines your carrying and lifting capacity in pounds. Strength value of 8 is 50 and 100. So carry 50, lift 100, and that's in pounds. So from here, we go ahead and let's go over here to initiative step. Your initial initiative step is going to be your straight dex step, so that's step 4. Mark down that, and action dice are 1d6. Over here to damage. This is derived statistics off of toughness. And your death rating is what we'll start with. And we have a toughness value of 15. Toughness value of 15 gives a death rating of 38. So 38. An unconsciousness rating of 29. Yes. a wound threshold of 10. Get to make 3 recovery tests per day. And all of that is, again, on the table on page 42. So that's got your death rating, your uncon rating, your wound threshold, and your recovery tests. Your recovery tests are how you heal. Your unconsciousness and death rating are from the same pool, and they're like your hit points in D&D. Your wound threshold is the amount of damage you have to take in a single hit to get a separate wound. Those are grievous wounds. They are tracked separately from damage, though you take the damage as well. So, next we take a look at Karma. And the Karma die type for a Scrang is a D6, because Karma are expendable dice that you can use on certain rolls. They have a maximum Karma of 25. They start with 5, and they cost 8 LP per point, because that's actually spending part of your legend. Your legend points are like your experience. So now that you've got all that, we move on to the next step, which is talents. You have 8 points worth of talents to put among all of your first circle talents. You don't have to take them all at once, but I go ahead and write them all down. Even if I don't put ranks in them, I write them all down. The book says do not mark them as rank 0, because if you don't have any ranks in them, you can't use them. I still put them down because it's useful for tracking for character advancement later. But in this case, we're going to put 1 in Karma Ritual, 1 in Read Write Magic, 2 in Spellcasting, 1 in each spell matrix, and 2 in Thread Weaving. Your spell matrices are important because you don't directly cast spells in this system. It's not like memorizing them in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have a certain number of slots per day. You put the pattern of the spell into a spell matrix. That matrix will hold the pattern until you clear it and put a new one in. And then you run the magical energies through your matrix and the spell is cast. You might have to weave threads of magic to it, but that's roughly how it's done. But anyway, so that's what spell matrices are. Now, you have a attribute associated with most of these. Everybody has a karma ritual, but so it actually doesn't have a attribute step associated. It's taking time, and you can buy that number of karma per day. Now, Read Write Magic is based off of perception. Perception step is 7. We have 1 rank in it. So that attribute step is 7. Your talent step is 8. Spellcasting, again, perception 7, step 9. Again, perception on thread weaving. So that's 7, final step of 9, because it is the attribute step plus your rank. So I'm going to sneak a look on the second page here for the step and action dice table that are nicely included there. And talent step of 8 is 2d6. And 9 is 1d8 plus 1d6. 1d6. And there you go. Talents are taken care of. So now we move on to the next page. Now you can see I went ahead and marked down tail attack here, and that the damage step for that is strength step plus 3 more steps. So got a strength step of 4 plus 3 steps. That's a step 7, and damage on step 7 is d12. 1d12. So there you go. Equipment, I'm not going to cover equipment in this video. You have 150 silver pieces to spend on equipment, and that table starts on page 211 and it goes through 215. Skills. Skills get a little complicated, but not terribly so. You start with one artisan skill. Artisan skills are very important, and so you have to take an artisan skill. It's a single freebie. All artisan skills are based off of charisma. Next, you get two knowledge skills. You can put them both in the same knowledge skill, or you can put them between two different ones. They are, again, rank of the skill, and you add that to your perception. Step. Always step. You then get racial language. You speak language for at rank 2 for free. You get Dwarven and your racial language. That's why it's 2 ranks. Each rank is 1 language. You also get read write language, single rank, and that's Dwarvish. As for why you can speak and read Dwarvish, even if you're not a dwarf, Barsave is a dwarven kingdom, and most adventures are taking place in Barsave, so that's the lingua franca. That's the language of trade, that's the common language. Then, after all of those, you get your charisma step ranks and free skills, but you cannot choose any of these skills that are of the ones that you just got other than the speak and read write languages. You can up those if you want. Each point you increase those gives you 1 more language. So what I've done is I've got wood carving for my artisan skill. So that is 1 rank in that, plus my charisma step of 4. That's a final step of 5. That's a D8. 1D8 for wood carving. That's my artisan skill. Speak language and read write language, those are both based off of perception. Perception step is a 7, so that's a 9 and an 8. You'd only have to roll these for anything that's truly complicated because you're generally fluent in the languages that you have. So a 9 is again D8, D6, 1D8 plus 1D6, and an 8 is 2D6. Now, for my knowledge skill, I'm going to go ahead and take 2 ranks of botany. So that is 2 plus 7. That's 9. So 1d8 plus 1d6. Now, for my general skills, I'm taking 2, well, not general, my free points, my free skill points. I'm putting 2 into forgery and 2 into research. I have 4 because my charisma step, back over here, you'll see charisma step 4. These are the free points. So 2, 4. Dex step, my dexterity step is 4. So my forgery is 6. Step 6 is 1d10. Perception, that's 7. So that's 9. 1d8 plus 1d6. Now the only thing left, seeing as we've covered all of the skills now we move to spells. And the spells that I'm going to take for this character are Purify Water, Heat Food, and Earth Darts. You actually have as many points for spells as you have in your willpower step. So this has a willpower. This character has a willpower step of 7. I have 7 points. First circle spells cost 1 point. Second circle spells cost 2. At first circle, you can only cast first circle spells, but you already have second circle if you want them. These are 3 first circle spells because I'm just giving a basic concept on how to purchase them and write them down. So each one of these takes 1 thread of magic. They have a weaving difficulty each of 5. That's the target number you have to roll on your thread weaving check to weave the thread of magic. They both purify water and heat food have a range of touch. And Earth Darts has a range of 30 yards. Duration is 1 round for Purify Water, 1 round for Earth Darts, and 10 plus rank minutes for Heat Food. Those are some very useful Elementalist spells. There are a lot of others. You can only choose Elementalist spells when you're making Elementalist. If you're making a wizard, you can only take wizard spells. If you're making a Neithermancer, only Neithermancer spells. That's just they're locked as your talents to your discipline. So, in all, that is an Earthdawn character right there. Your basic attributes, defenses, talents. So you have your breakdown that the first thing that you do is your character information, 66 points in attributes, derived statistics, 8 points in talents, one artisan skill, 2 general knowledge skills, 2 speak language, 1 read write language, charisma step ranks and free skills, equipment, and spells. And you're done. Now, I hope that was at least somewhat understandable and helps demystify a little bit of character creation in Earthdawn for you. And I hope people will decide to give it a chance. Now, as I said, this is still a live system. There are newer additions, but this is the basics of how CareGen is done. If you can create a spellcaster in Earthdawn, you can create any kind of character. If you would like some kind of lore video, you can leave a comment. If you have some other system that you would like me to do a character creation on, again, go ahead and leave a comment. If this was helpful, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and give me a like. I do appreciate it. This is a new channel. I am still learning how to do all of this. So, I guess I will post another video and see everyone in about 2 weeks when I do a character for Shadowrun 3rd, which is when this was released. Shadowrun was the future of Earthdawn, or Earthdawn rather was the past of Shadowrun. Hope to see you there, chummers.